If he's capable of erection, then the next question would be, if you're capable of an erection, why do you not want to have sex with me? So that would be the next question. If she has seen her husband with an erection before, then why does her husband not want to have sex with Mercy? Now, in some cases, we hear this story on the flip side. You know, it's the lady who's probably a virgin. She's the one who has who is anxious when it comes to sex. So even though the guy is trying, she's not just really welcoming the intrusion. She's not welcoming the fact that somebody has to penetrate her in order to, in order to have sex. So in those cases, particularly when they practice abstinence and the lady is a virgin, it's in those cases that they have to go to the pastor or to a doctor or to a therapist and, get the lady to feel more relaxed about having sex. Her mind should not view it as penetration, as an invasion of her body. She should understand that, oh, this person loves her and this person wants to have the highest form of intimacy with her. But this is a man now. This is a man. Where do we begin to address this? People in the comment section have talked about going to a medical practitioner, somebody who knows about this, who's a medical doctor, somebody who can, maybe run a series of tests and get to the bottom line as to what is wrong here. Is that something you would also advise? The number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. You can also send in a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. So this one is coming from YO from Ikeja. YO says, excuse me, YO says, I'm not blaming you, madam, but I often wonder what people discuss when dating or in courtships. Do they often do they often allow love or gifts color the need to hold honest conversation that is essential in a sustainable relationship? I quite understand that many do lie just to be married. This calls for a sense of counselors who must guide. Now that the situation is worrisome, how can the husband not touch his legal wife who is sleeping in the same house or bed with him for a period of 3 months? Something is not adding up. Time to call him to be truthful so you can both find solution if there's any problem. And if none, so the both of you, especially the wife, should decide what the next course of action should be. And that's coming in from YO from Ikeja. All right, YO, thank you very much. Peter from Iyanokwaja said the man may be gay. Now, this is the second person saying this tonight. And again, we do not know if that is true. We don't know if that is true. Yes, that is a possibility because in the world where we live in, almost anything is possible. But do you think so as well? What are your thoughts and what is your advice to Mercy? Hello, good evening. Okay, please try to call back. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. Okay, please try to call back. All right. So Mercy at this point is just wondering, why is my husband not willing to have sex with me? Or why is he saying he's not interested? Now, this is not just he's not willing. He's not interested. And this is what I'm not the one saying this. This is what she said that his reply is when she has asked him before. He says, I'm not interested. Why would a 35-year-old man, newly married, not want to sleep with his wife and they've been married for 3 months now? Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello. Good evening. This is Mwachuku calling from Ikorodu.
Mwachuku from Ikorodu. Are you a first-time caller?
Yeah, I am a
Thank you
first
so
time caller.
much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Mwachuku,
I,
thank you for
I really
calling.
appreciate.
How are you? I hope you had a good day today.
Very, very fun.
Awesome. Good to hear. Good to hear
Just
that.
listening to this radio station.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Concerning the issue people are treating here, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you.
I, to me, whether even a virgin, once it is, once uh, she's married or once he, hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Marriage is something that anyone, when you talk of sex, it is something that no one's supposed to hinder oneself from having once they are both married.
Mm-hmm.
Even that made it clear that husband should not deny himself to his wife or no wife deny himself to her husband.
Mm.
So in issue of this, I think the woman need to make a hay when the sun shines to report to the family of the man. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
She needs to report to the family of the man. Let them, if she's keeping such secret, not to tell her what the problem is, because I think she might have asked him what and why is he turning down the request.
Mm-hmm.
After all, she's supposed not to be the one to request for.
Mm. Are you okay? I want you to please call back if you can. So I think the basic point of what he said so far is that she should talk to somebody about it. She should talk to somebody about it. That she should not just keep quiet and let it happen to her. She should talk to someone about it. Now, somebody raised a point about um are they not supposed to be having sex in didn't they have sex when they were courting? That was a question that we received in the group on the WhatsApp group. That was from Ahamili from Sierra Leone. That was literally the first line in his message. He said, didn't you people have intercourse when you were dating? And also said, please, religious people don't come for me. Now, remember yesterday we profiled the story that had to do with this lady, that had to do with this lady who was saying that her fiance wanted her to get pregnant before marriage. And then people were saying, oh, when sex before marriage is not even allowed biblically and Quranically, why are you even talking of, why is he talking about pregnancy before marriage? You're not even supposed to have sex before marriage, let alone get pregnant before marriage. So I'm sure that that is what Ahamili was referring to. So in this case, is this something that they should have discussed or even practiced before marriage? Is premarital sex now something, I mean, in this kind of case, would premarital sex have been a preventive measure for this kind of thing? Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Wanchuku, is that you?
Yeah, yeah, my time got exhausted.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
okay.
now, as I was saying,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes these reasons are why when you ask some ladies today, they be the one to request for sex even during courtship
Mm.
to test and know whether the man is fit. But I'm against the premarital sex. But the way some guys are doing it are making it to be, in fact, for the females who are requesting for premarital sex to be right. Because I don't know, even if you are poor on bed as a man, you have issue. You are cutting the woman for marriage to be married with her. If there is an issue of that, you let her know be on time. If she can cope with you, good. If she can't, you can decline the proposal.
Hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Because now it is happening so. What is there for the woman not to look outside? She needs a third party on issue of this nature because it's not something he can hide. Not that the woman performs, but not good on bed. But she doesn't want, the man doesn't want at all, which is something he is supposed not to hear.
Okay.
If the man belongs to a secret court or whatever, he should let the woman know because silence is not needed on the issue of this nature. Because sometimes to avoid the woman being the man saying that the woman is inferior, whatever, not fruitful, because when she tries to look for a man that can satisfy her, that becomes adultery, committing adultery. So she can't. She's supposed not to keep quiet for now.
Okay, so you want
One, it
you're
is
saying
still,
that she should talk to a third party. Who's this third party?
yeah. The third party, I mean, mostly who is in the best position to attend to this issue is the family of the husband first.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you know those that is those in relatives that is in good time with the husband. You know those that the husband listens to. Because
All
this
right,
thing
all
is
right.
not something you should just keep
Nwachukwu, I
quiet.
need you to wrap up. I need you to wrap up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so Nwachukwu is saying that in this case, that this case is particularly unique because this is not supposed to be the case. Usually it's the man who asks for sex. It's the man who initiates sex. I mean, that is not the only case scenario because a lot of women initiate sex now. I mean, it's mutual and they're married. So why not? But he's saying that it's usually the man who wants to have sex. He's the one who is excited about it, particularly at this beginning stage, now that they're newly married. So he's saying this case is definitely an anomaly. This is not what it's supposed to be. So he's saying what she needs to do is in his family, somebody he knows, respects, and loves, family that can talk to him. She's he's saying to prevent the whole issue of infidelity, unfaithfulness in the long run, that his wife will now have to start cheating on him to get sexual satisfaction, which will be adultery. He's saying let him let her speak to somebody in his family that can talk to him and possibly get to the root of this. He's also saying if there was something medically wrong with him, it would have been good for him to have told her when they were courting. Then if she's still in, despite that, then that's her choice. Rather than keeping that kind of information away from her, only for her to get into the marriage and meet this kind of scenario and then be lost and not know what to do. Just imagine asking your husband for sex. I can't even imagine what got her to that point. If she's the kind of person who doesn't initiate sex, who doesn't ask, if she's the kind of person who's used to the man wanting her, and in this case, he doesn't want her, then number one, it plays on her self-esteem. Number two, it makes her question what the entire marriage is about, being that they practiced abstinence. Number three, it makes her question her faith because abstinence is coming from a lot of time, it's coming from a place of faith. You shouldn't have sex before marriage. It's called fornication. Some other people also, they don't want STDs or STIs or anything like that. So they would rather stay abstinent. So she's wondering, so after staying abstinent, and now I'm 29 years of age and I'm married, and now I'm not even getting any. So it makes her feel all kinds of different ways, negative ways. So what can she do? What can she do? What do you think she can do? And if you're a woman, if you've been in this situation before, if you got married, and when you got married, your husband was not forthcoming with sex. He was either saying he was not interested or he wasn't able to get it up. Now this is where I would have really loved for Mercy to answer questions because this is where we need to know, has he ever been able to have an erection in front of you before? Not necessarily from you, not necessarily from you or from your body or from seeing your nakedness or anything like that. That's the second phase. The first phase is, have you even seen him with an erection? So you know how they call it the morning erection. There's something, there's definitely that for the man. You wake up in the morning and then his penis is erect and everything because the early morning and all of that, guys have that biology installed in them. And God is just great. So that comes with their biology. And does he get morning erections at least? At least. Now, the reason I'm asking this is so that we can get that answers. Can he get an erection? An erection. Can he get an erection? Yes, he can. All right. Now to the next item on the agenda. Has he gotten an erection from seeing you naked or seeing you in any kind of sexual state, or basically has he gotten sexually aroused because of you? That's item number 2. Now, if this has happened as well, then that means number 1, he can get an erection. Number 2, you arouse him. You stimulate him sexually. And that's a good thing. Now, if he does not get aroused from you at all, and you've been with him for 3 months in the same house on the same bed, what happens? And why is this the case? Another thing I would like to address is the fact that this might not be purely physical. It might not be the fact that you're not attractive or that um he doesn't look at you and wants you. That might not be the case. It might be that he's the kind of person that little things are the things that turn him on, not necessarily, nakedness or you in lingerie and you acting all sexy. That might not be his thing. He might be stimulated by intellectual conversations. Now, this sounds probably this may sound silly to some people, but some people are sapiosexuals, and when they say that, they really mean it. Stimulated by intellect, that's what they're about. They like it when they see somebody who is owning her business, who is, in control of her life, being able to attack life from an intelligent point of view, being able to hold intellectual conversations. Could he be that type of person? What was the nature of your courtship? When you were courting, was there any point where, in that time when you were being abstinent, was there any point where you made out to the point where he was like, you both were like, okay, we need to stop, because if we don't stop, we're going to keep going on, and we may go into the next level, and we may actually have sex? Because there are lots of videos out there about couples who practiced abstinence, and you can tell that it's not easy for them. It's not easy for them because yes, they're practicing abstinence, but they're doing other things. And by other things, I don't mean the extreme other things like oral sex, and I don't mean all of that. What I mean is they're doing other things like hugging, even kissing on the lips, just that brief, "Mwah," nothing major, because they also know that if they start French kissing and start touching each other's bodies, they will definitely get to that point where they want to have sex. It's a natural feeling. God put it there for a reason. So they know that it's if they get to that point, they might cross that line. So it's hard for them. So was this something that happened in your courtship? Did you ever get to that point where you're like, okay, 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 stop, 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 go home. I feel like if we don't go home now, we're going to do this and we should not do this. That would speak to passion. That would speak to sexual interest between both of you. But if there was nothing like that, if you didn't even hug, you didn't hold hands, you didn't make out, you didn't do anything remotely sexually inclined, then that might be where we should even begin, let alone this point. So I will frame that into a question now. Mercy, when you were dating your husband, was there any point where you were in a heavy makeout session and you had to end things before crossing the line and actually having sex? Again, I'm not asking this because I want to sound any type of way, but this is adult conversations and we're adults. If there was no passion when they were courting, and abstinence is not an excuse for the lack of passion. Abstinence is not an excuse for the lack of sexual interest. That is so not true. So anybody that says that is obviously lying. You can practice abstinence, but you know that this person wants to be with you. You can tell that every time they hug you, every time they look at you dressed in a certain way, every time they spend too much time with you, particularly when it's nearing towards the night, every time they kiss you, you can tell that there is sexual interest. What they are struggling with is the fact that they do not actually want to have sex. So the fact that they were abstinent does not necessarily mean that they would not have sexual interest. But in line with Mercy's story, if there was no passion even when they were dating, then then that might be where to start, as I said earlier. So basically, Mercy is saying 3 months into my marriage, my husband is not having sex with me. We practiced abstinence and now we're married and it's 3 months in and he is not having sex with me. When I ask him, he says that excuse me, when I ask him, he says that he is not interested. He says that he is not interested. So, what do I do? I am worried. She says, I think he has low sperm count, but he doesn't want to open up to me. Benjamin called and said, oh, I don't think he has low sperm count. I think he has erectile dysfunction, which when I looked up the meaning of erectile dysfunction, that means when a man cannot hold an erection firm enough to have sexual intercourse. And that's the meaning of that. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think that Mercy can do? What do you think she can do? How do you think she can resolve this situation? Do you think there's a resolution? What do you think she can do? 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. Now is a good time to start calling. Now is a good time to start calling because when the phone lines start buzzing, you will not get as much time to speak as you want to. So let's space it out. Let's space it out so that as we call in, each person can get, just enough time for them to get their point across. What do you think that Mercy can do? Hello, good evening.
Hello, Tonto.
Good evening. Who am I speaking with?
Good evening. How are you? How was your day?
My day was good. Thank you so much.
How is work?
Work is good. Work is good. Work is good. How about you?
Okay. Well, we bless God for today.
Awesome.
This is Henry calling from Ekoroju.
Harry, how are you? Good to hear from you. Thank you.
I'm okay.
All right. So Harry, yes, let's get to it. That's right. I want to hear from you.
I want to ask a question first.
Okay.
I think they dated each other for how many, is it a year or what?
Okay, so she didn't say how long they dated. She didn't say it in her story how long they dated for.
Because no matter how it is, I think they have courtship with each other. Actually, that is where she can find out if truly this guy is good to go or not. She understands. Because I don't think they really have that long time of boyfriend and girlfriend thing before getting married to each other. And then the first thing happen, I think the girl can be able to figure out if she's ready to go with the guy or not. I think that is exactly what will happen.
Harry, say that part again. Say that part again, what you just said.
I said, assuming during their courtship, assuming during their courtship, they have something like they have tried to make love to each other. I think the girl can be able to figure out if she can be able to cope or not.
Oh, okay.
Because I believe during the courtship, I don't think something like that nature really happened. That is why.
Yes, she said they practiced abstinence.
Okay.
Yes, she said they practiced abstinence, which means that they did not have penetrative sex when they were courting.
I understand. Maybe the guy knows what is going on and she truly loves the lady and she doesn't want to lose the lady. That I think so. That is what really happened.
So what's your advice to Mercy now? What do you think she can do?
My advice to the lady is just for him to call the guy. Let them have one-on-one conversation. Are you getting me? I think there is a way out to it.
So the one-on-one conversation is so that the guy will open up to her what the real reason is, Abby?
They are married to each other.
Yes, they are.
They are there to cover each other's losses. They are there to carry each other's load. I think if the guy can be able to open up to the lady, I think the lady will find a way out.
All right.
Because why the lady is crying out like this? Because if it is someone who is ready to look outside honestly speaking, she won't come to on air to ask for people's opinion.
Mm. Mm.
Are you getting my point?
Of course, of course.
So you should try and
Talk to
have
her.
a one husband and wife.
Okay. Well, thank you very much,
Right?
Harry.
Because the reason why I'm saying this, are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Because when I got, you mentioned something then. Because anytime she come around, there's a level of play. Because anytime she come around, there's a level of play. She said it's okay. She understands.
Okay.
So on that fateful day, she just decided to just open up to me. So that is it. So she will try. Let me have a one-on-one conversation with the guy. I think I have that belief the guy will open up and there will be a solution to it.
All right. Thank you very much, Harry. Thank you for calling.
Thank
All right. So Harry from Ikorodu is saying that the best way would be for her to talk to him. Honest heart-to-heart conversation, open conversation, where he's really open with her, where he really trusts her with everything that has gone on in his life, and trusts her that as the person he's married to, as his partner, as the person he's in love with, she'll be able to understand whatever it is that is going on with him. And she'll be able to find a solution, or they will be able to find a solution together. So he's saying they have to be honest with each other. He said something like this happened to him. His wife wasn't able to have sex with him until like 8 months after they actually got married. But she actually opened up to him later and told him why. So Henry is saying an open, heart, honest conversation is the way to go. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, and thank you for calling. Please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Christopher calling from Moba.
Hello, Christopher. How are you doing today?
Huh?
How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much. All right, very quickly, Christopher, please go ahead.
So my advice to Messi is, but there's the guy to Messi is, but there's the guy there's a problem for Messi. It's because of the love he has for Messi. If he open up, maybe the woman must leave him. So the belief thing, my best to Messi, let the woman for the husband. They are now, once they are married now, they are all one. Nothing to hide again. So let the husband call the woman. Let the man open up. So two of them can come together and find solution. And subsequently, they can even go to God. That's nothing God cannot do. There's no solution without there's no problem without solution. And God is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christopher. Okay, so Christopher says, number one, they need to talk to each other because they're married. They can, they're one now, so they can talk to each other about literally anything. He's seconding basically what Henry said. But his second point was they can also pray about it. They can also pray about it and go to God about it. He said there's nothing God cannot do. Now, if they pray, they can also pray about it and go to God about it. He said there's nothing God cannot do. Now, if they pray about it, or if she prays about it, what exactly is she praying about? Because she doesn't know why he doesn't want to have sex. So this conversation has to come first, and then together they can pray about it, about the real issue when he has opened up to her. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. How are you today?
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. Please tell me your name and where you're calling from.
So my name is Ubong. I'm calling from Abuja.
Ubong.
Yes,
Where are you calling from again?
Abuja.
From Abuja.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. To Mercy.
What is mine?
Advice to
Hello.
Mercy. What is your advice to Mercy? Hello, are you there? Back if you can, Ubang. Try to call back. All right. So let me from YO from Ikeja. So she said, Sumto, maybe I should add clarifying whether the husband has ever had an erection. So let me take this message from YO from Ikeja. So she said, Sumto, maybe I should add clarifying whether the husband has ever had an erection, whether in the early morning or mere looking at his wife's, whether in the early morning or mere looking at his wife's naked body. He said erectile dysfunction, that's ED, comes in different formats. A guy can have early morning erection or while looking at the naked body of an opposite sex, and still not able to have sex with a lady, as the erection can go down right before penetration happens. So ED comes in different degrees. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that clarification, YO. But yes, that is true. That is true. So the basic point of erectile dysfunction is the fact that the man cannot keep an erection firm enough or hard enough to have sexual intercourse for the literal act of penetration to happen. The man cannot keep his erection long enough or hard enough for sexual intercourse to happen. I'm not saying he has it. This was Benjamin from Agbado who said he doesn't think that Mercy's husband has low sperm count, which is what she said. She said he has low sperm count, but Benjamin is saying he doesn't think it's low sperm count. He thinks it's erectile dysfunction. So thank you very much, YO, for that. Hello, good evening.
Ubang that's coming back.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So Ubang, talk to me. What is your advice to Mercy?
No, the nurse hasn't not meet the woman. That's my own advice.
I didn't get that. What's
I said the man should leave the woman.
the woman should leave
Are
the
you
man?
hearing me?
Are you saying the woman should leave the man?
No, I mean the man should leave the woman.
Why should the man leave the woman?
I mean the man should leave the woman.
Why should the man leave the woman?
Because if the man continue with the woman, it will be because if the man continue with the woman, it will be problem every day. So every day. So let the man leave the woman.
Okay. So Ubang,
Okay, ma.
okay. So Ubang,
Okay, ma. I wanted to ask. I don't used to listen to. I don't used to hear King voice again. I don't know when is he having the program. Hello?
I didn't get that.
I mean, skill that I used to do. Hello?
I didn't get that.
I mean, skill that I used to do hook up every Sunday. I said I don't used to hear his voice again.
That program hasn't held in a while, Ubang. That program has not held in a while. And that's because we're
Okay.
rebranding that program. We're working it. We're trying to
Okay,
repackage it
okay.
again so that we can start it afresh and it can come out really,
Okay.
really well. So we're working on a lot of
Okay.
different things in line with that program. So that's why. But thank you very much for
Okay.
calling, Ubang. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's Ubang from Abuja. Ubang is saying that the man should leave the woman. Now, I'm not entirely sure whether he got the gist of the story, but his basic advice is that the man should leave the woman. And if he did get the story, what I would like to understand or what I would like to believe is that he's saying possibly that the man should leave the woman because he's not interested in having sex with her and he's not interested in telling her why he's not interested in having sex with her. So rather than go on with a marriage that is fake and phony and not beneficial to any of the two of them, maybe the man should leave rather than having the woman leave. Maybe the man himself should leave. I'm hoping that that's what he was trying to say. Okay, if you can, kindly call back. So basically, this is 12 minutes past the hour of 10 on your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. Tonight, we're profiling Mercy's story. Mercy is basically telling us that she's been married for 3 months, practiced abstinence with her husband before they got married, and now they've been married for 3 months, and her husband is not giving her any sex. Husband is not interested in having sex with her. she says this because she has actually asked him and he has said that he's just not interested. She said she thinks he has low sperm count, but he's not opening up to her. And she says she's worried because her husband hasn't had sex with her for 3 months. What should she do? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. What's your name?
So I call back from I call back.
Okay, you have 30 seconds, please.
The reason why I say that they should pray, nothing God cannot do, is this. The guy has a problem, which he doesn't want to open up to his wife. So let the wife pressurize the man. If the man does not open up, then the woman can invite the husband's parents. I'm sure the man can open up to his parents. This is the problem. This is the problem. Then from there, they jump together and look for a solution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So he's saying he's adding that in this case the man can in this case the wife can invite his parents and talk to them about it so that her husband can open up to his parents as to why he doesn't want to have sex with his wife. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello. Hello, are you there? Please call back. Please call back when you can. Okay. Hello? Okay. So this is a very, very different situation. And as I've said before, it may or may not have anything to do with physical, with the physical state of things. That's why I said, you know what, just to confirm if the physical state is okay, at least, let's make sure that he can get an erection. Let's make sure that he can get an erection. At least if he can get an erection, then we know that, okay, he can get an erection. But if he possibly has erectile dysfunction, maybe he can't keep it firm enough or keep it hard enough or keep it long enough to have sexual intercourse. But at least he can get an erection. So when they go to visit a medical practitioner, somebody who they can speak to, the person, they can actually tell the person that, oh, he can get an erection. So at least that's a given. But we need him to keep it hard enough for him to actually sleep with me so that we can have children and we can have continuous sex and our marriage can be blissful because we're married and we're newly married. This is supposed to be the honeymoon phase. So what do you think that Mercy can really do in this situation? For somebody who has not been sexually active before, and I'm talking about Mercy now because Mercy and her husband practiced abstinence when they were courting. They were not sexually active. So one would expect that when they get married, they start to have a lot of sex. And that's not the case, and Mercy is worried. What can she do? Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name? Thank you.
My name is Agatha.
Agatha. Like Agatha, or a new Agatha?
No, it's the Agatha.
Agatha, how are you today? Happy New Year, my sister. How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Good to hear from you. Work is good. Good to hear from you. Thank you for calling.
Okay. My advice to Mercy, right?
Yes, Mercy.
Yes. Because I don't know, but something is wrong somewhere. Because 3 months waiting without anything, the man is not complete.
Okay, you can't say that. You know you can't say that.
Let the Mercy. Let she and her husband bath together. You hear what I'm saying?
Okay, in the shower?
Let them shower together. So if from there the woman will know everything. Because I'm thinking.
Wait, Agatha, what
It's
does showering together do?
You know that some people, God creates that they're not a man and they are not a woman. I'm not saying that, but
Oh,
I have seen it. Are you hearing me?
yes, I'm hearing you.
Let's try to do something like that.
Okay, so let me get this straight because I need to be sure of what you're saying. I know you're not saying,
Okay.
you're not using your full chest to say it, but let me just
Yes.
be sure of what you're saying. So you're saying that you're suggesting rather that
Yes.
Mercy and her husband take a shower together, basically to
Yes.
confirm that he's actually a man.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
That's what
I
I'm.
just needed
My,
to be sure that we the talk now the
so
same
my,
thing we would talk. Okay, all right. So what else? Okay. So that was a new one. That was like out there. It was right smack dab in the middle of the conversation, and I did not see that one coming. She said something along the lines of, because I've actually seen this before. Of course, that may not be firsthand. It may be that she heard something or she has heard the story or something along those lines. But she's saying that she's suggesting that Agatha, oh, okay, I've started in this again. She's suggesting that Mercy and her husband shower together so that she can at least be sure that her husband is a man and not of a different sex or a different gender, or at least has different sexual parts. Okay, moving on. Hello, good evening. Hello. Okay, I really can't hear you and I don't know why. So please try to call back. Please try to call back, okay? Thank you. All right. This is 20 minutes past 10 on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. This is Adults Conversations where we share real life issues and discuss matters relating to the heart. Tonight on Adults Conversations, we're profiling Mercy's story. Mercy is telling us that she's been married for 3 months to a 35-year-old man. She's 29. She's been married to a 35-year-old man for 3 months, and he has not had sex with her at all. Bear in mind that they practiced abstinence when they were courting. They practiced abstinence when they were courting. So this means they've not had sex with each other before. So this is 3 months in, and she's saying, we're not still having sex. What do I do? I'm worried. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. Please, what's your name?
This is Sam from Songo.
Sam from Songo.
Yes.
Okay. Sam, are you a first-time caller?
Yes, of course.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's for you. Thank you for calling. Please go ahead, Sam. What is your advice for Mercy?
Right. The case before this night, in fact, is somehow, how do I put it? Because the man in question, we don't know what really happened to him. Otherwise, naturally, if you're dating a woman, you may always have the urge, as well as the woman also, to only come together. But if that is not happening, it means there's a problem, actually, from the man.
Hmm.
But then, you're supposed to have told the wife or the woman, the wife to be then. One thing is that I have a case like that. I had a case like that with a cousin of mine that she wanted to get married to a man of about 50 something years.
Hmm.
But we discovered that this man, he had that issue. He never knew that there was a problem anyway. But each time he comes to see my cousin, there's no move, there's no connect between she and the man. So the woman had told me, my sister had talked to me that she doesn't know whether this man can do anything like that. I said, what does she mean? She explained to me. Then I meet with the man in person, and he told me that for a long time he lost his wife. He has not had sex at all.
Okay.
That was just the problem. So what happened? as they begin to get closer and get closer, they didn't have sex anyway. They played and did some other things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the man begin to feel sex. I mean, feel that his organ has come back or something. He can regain his erection. But today they're happily married with a daughter. So that man, I think, he should open up to the wife and they will discuss it. Yes, that is what helped my sister. Today they have a daughter.
So,
Except he knew that he had a very serious issue that he has been trying to, find solution to, and it's not working out for him. Then he should tell the woman, he should discuss it with the woman. That will make a headway.
Thank you very much, Sam. But let me just point out that in the story you just told us now, by the way, thank you for sharing your story. That's always very important. We always appreciate that when people share their stories. So thank you again. You said that you were the one who spoke with him, not your wife. I mean, not your sister.
Yes.
Okay. But in this case, you're suggesting that Mercy actually speak to her husband, not necessarily involving a third party. Now, I just want to clarify if you're suggesting that she should involve a third party, which is something like what your sister did, or that she herself should speak to her husband.
Either way.
Okay, so she can apply your sister's method, something like what you did, to speak to her husband, or she can talk to him herself. So either of the two.
Either way. She can talk to her. She can also advise a very cleaner person to the husband to talk to him.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Sam. Thank you for calling. Okay, so Sam from Songo shared his story about his younger sister who got married to a man who initially as well could not maintain an erection, or at least could not have sex with her. And she later found out through her elder brother, who is Sam now. She told Sam about it. Sam got to talk to the man, and the man actually opened up to Sam, telling him that he lost his wife, and since he lost his wife, he has not bothered about sex or had sex with anyone. So it's taken some time to get his body back into that space. But after a while, they continued, little by little, everything aligned. His erections started coming back, and now they're blessed with children. So he's saying, talk to a third party, somebody who's close to him, to talk to him to get that information for you. Or talk to your husband yourself and get him to open up to you. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Good. I'm fine.
Thank you for calling.
My name is Moses.
Moses, where are you calling from? Please go ahead.
My own idea is the man to open up to his wife, because I believe husband and wife is one, nothing like a secret. Yeah, so I believe maybe the woman will know solution of the problem, or he have a friend. That kind of thing don't happen to, so maybe he can find doctor or what to just to settle the problem. So the man to hide that sickness, is bad. But that's my own idea. Make man open up to his wife. That's my own idea.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Moses. Okay, so Moses is saying that his wife, Mercy, she talked to her husband and again tried to get her husband to open up, because there may be something wrong that requires the services of a doctor, and they might need to fix that situation so that it doesn't get worse than things are at the moment. So he's saying, talk to your husband, try to get him to open up to you. Now, because this has come up a number of times, I'll just like to ask, is there anything that can be so bad that is wrong with the husband that he doesn't want the wife to know, that he's not telling her? Is there anything that could be possibly wrong with a man that is not allowing him have interest in having sex with his wife? And that thing is so private and is so bad that he doesn't want to tell his wife about it. If you're a man and you're listening, Is there anything that could be that bad that you would not want to even open up to your wife about it? Is there anything like that? So, what are your thoughts on the subject? Yes, I know we have a second phone line, the one that starts with 0902, but please, it's advisable for you to call the number in which I'm calling, the only number I've been calling, and that is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. That's the number I recommend for you to call because that's the number that we're picking up calls from. So kindly call that number if you want to contribute. You can also send in a text or a WhatsApp message onto the number 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. So, really quickly off of Facebook, this one is coming from Olawale Peter Ayeni. And he's saying, the best thing to do now is to call him at the middle of the night and ask him why he always gives excuses when you ask him for sex. Don't assume that he has low sperm count. And if he doesn't give you any cogent reason, you need to see his parents or pastor. Taiwo Ogumola Omilani is saying, once he says nothing, look for somebody he obeys and tell the person. Once he says nothing, look for somebody he obeys and tell the person.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. Good evening. Please try to call back. Please try to call back. Okay, 10:30 on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. This is still Adult Conversations where we share real life issues and we discuss matters relating to the heart. Tonight we're profiling Mercy's story. Mercy is telling us that she's been married for 3 months to her husband who she practiced abstinence with before they got married. So they practiced abstinence all through the time they were courting, and now they're married. They've been married for 3 months, and her husband does not want to have sex with her. She has asked him why, and he has said he's just not interested. He's not interested. And now she's saying, what do I do? So, if you have any advice for Mercy, what do you think she can do? And how do you think she can go about it in a way that she can try to get her husband to have sex with her? Because that's the end goal. The end goal is for them to have a healthy sexual relationship within their marriage. Sex is always a good thing within marriages, particularly for newly married couples. It's imperative that they have sex. This builds their intimacy, it builds their bond. So why is this not happening and what can Mercy do to change this? Hello, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. I need more volume from you, please. Can you be louder?
Good evening, ma'am. My name is Godwin.
Hello, Godwin. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ogun State. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Where in Ogun State are you calling from, please? Hello, Godwin. Godwin, are you there? Okay, Godwin, if you can hear me, please call back. We would like to hear your advice. And please, when you call back, ensure that you have better network so we can hear you, or that you are louder so that I can hear you louder. You know what I mean? Thank you so much. Okay, let me take this call. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Okay, this is Godwin again, yeah?
It's Godwin calling back.
All right, fantastic. Please go ahead, Godwin.
I think the woman should keep her husband down, ask him what is happening. What there's a problem somewhere. How can a man that is newly married cannot have sex with his wife? It's not good. You should be his husband down. That's what's happening. That's my advice for her.
Okay, so you're saying she should talk to him?
Yes.
Okay.
Ask him what is happening.
She should ask him what the reason is, why.
Yes.
But she said she has asked him and he said he's not interested.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She said she has asked him already and he's saying
So
that
what?
he's just not interested. Do you think
No,
that's
no.
not the real reason that she should probe further?
Hello, ma. There's a problem. Okay.
Okay, Godwin, I think I get you. You're saying that she should probe further, basically. Because to you, how can a man who just newly got married, a man who has practiced abstinence, and now he's married and he doesn't want to have sex with his wife? You're saying it's not just about interest. You're saying there's significantly something wrong, and that something needs to be found out. That something needs to come to the light so that it can be given a chance to be fixed. So I believe I properly explained what it is that you're trying to say. You're trying to say that there's a deeper problem behind his not being interested, and that is to be found out. That problem needs to come out into the open so that it can begin to be solved. Okay, so this is another message. I'm going to read this, even though the person did not send their name and location, but I'm going to read it because it's a very different school of thought than what we've been receiving. This person says, well, since what I've been hearing, since I don't understand, okay, I think she should take him for checkup. Maybe he has STI or HIV or something trying to protect the wife. Huh. Do you see why I had to read this message? I'm coming back to this. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello, good evening. Okay, so why I had to read that message is clearly because that's a different school of thought than what we had been receiving earlier via phone calls and even text messages. Now, this person says maybe he has an STI or he has HIV, which is also part of an STI, or STD in this case, because HIV is not an infection, it's a disease. So he said maybe he has an STI or he has HIV or something else that he's trying to protect his wife from. So maybe he's trying to protect his wife from contracting something. But then again, if he was practicing abstinence and was not sexually active, how could he have contracted an STI or an STD? How is that even possible? Somebody who is practicing abstinence, who is not having any kind of sex, let alone unprotected sex with any partner, how can the person all of a sudden out of nowhere just, you know, contract an STI or an STD? The likelihood of that is highly impossible. It's highly impossible. They call it STD and STIs for a reason. Sexually transmitted infections, sexually transmitted diseases. So you literally have to go through the process of having unprotected sex in order to contract an STI or an STD. So if somebody who is practicing abstinence has an STI, then we should be worried. We should literally question everything they've ever said because they're obviously not practicing abstinence. That's a different school of thought. I really had to read that. I just had to read that because that was very different from what we had been receiving earlier. It's still a good time to call. This is 23 minutes to 11 on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. And of course, this is Adult Conversations. It's still a wonderful time to call in now so that you can give your advice to Mercy. Mercy is in the middle of a difficult situation right now. She's saying that her husband, who she's been married to for 3 months, is just not having sex with her. He's not. Now, according to Mercy, she has asked him why. She has asked him why. And he just said he's not interested. He's not interested. And that's what he says. So according to Mercy, she says she thinks that he has low sperm count. That's why he doesn't want to sleep with her. But Benjamin called earlier and Benjamin said even people that have Low sperm count. Okay, Ahameli from Sierra Leone said it in the messages that even people who have low sperm count still have good sex. So what makes Mercy's husband so different? Then Benjamin said maybe it's not low sperm count, it's possibly erectile dysfunction. And the definition of that is when a man cannot hold or keep an erection long enough or hard enough to have penetrative sex. Hello? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling.
My name is Olusanya. I'm calling from Akuti for local government area.
Thank you so much for calling, Olusonya. Are you calling for the first time?
Yeah, for the first time.
Thank you so much. Yes, please go ahead, Olusonya.
So my own advice to that thing is that the woman they have to know the way you can talk to that man and ask him very well. Let it do the way a woman knows the way you can handle a man. Talk to her so that he can receive what is at the hiding. All these things people are saying, it might not even go to that area. Maybe the man is an impotent. You understand? And he try to cover it. You may not want the woman to know so that they can know where the problem is started, so that they can know what they can do to it. If you now refuse to say the truth, then the woman can go and tell her pastor or someone in a relationship, or if the man still have a parent, he can report to her to his parent and tell him what has been fixed. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Olusonya. Thank you for calling.
Yeah.
Okay, so Olusonya just said, if you talk to him and you're not getting any positive responses, he said the first thing you need to do is to talk to him as a wife to a husband. And this is what so many people have said earlier. Talk to him in that way that you will get him to open up to you. Now, I know, that saying that says you can only take the horse to the river, you cannot force it to drink. So everything you do may be to just get him to open up. By the end of the day, it's up to him to actually be comfortable enough to open up to you after all your own effort. So Olusonya is saying, make all that effort. Do whatever you have to do from your wife to husband. You're in love. You love this man. He loves you. You're married. So whatever it is you need to do to get him to open up to you, do it. Then if he doesn't now open up, he said, talk to your pastor. Now, this makes me ask, why are people saying talk to your pastor? What is your pastor supposed to do about this? What is your pastor supposed to do about this? I don't understand. I really don't. So maybe somebody else can explain to me. Maybe somebody who's listening can explain to me. What does your pastor have to do with any of this? But Olusonya said, talk to your pastor, or you can, he said something else. Talk to your pastor, or just try to figure out what the problem is. Something along those lines. Pardon me, Olusonya, please, if you can call back and explain again, I'll appreciate it. So, yes, it was the pastor part, I think, that threw me off a little bit. So apologies for that. All right, so talk to your pastor. Talk to him. Talk to your husband first. If that doesn't work, talk to your pastor. And just try to get to the bottom of things. Hello?
Hello, woman.
Hello, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Owa is my name. I'm calling from Ikorodu.
Owa from Ikorodu. Thank you for calling. Owa, are you calling for the first time?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Please go ahead.
Okay. Having listened to the story of Mercy, it's obvious that her husband is trying to hide some things, which he doesn't know how to go about relating to his newly married wife. She needs to talk to him as a wife, as a sister, and someone that, he should confide
on.
Hmm.
She needs to make him to understand that no matter whatever it is, that she will be there for him. No matter the situation, she's not going to abandon him or, mock
Hmm.
for the situation.
Okay.
If he fails to open up, if the man's parents are still alive, especially the mom, he should try to inform the mom. He doesn't need to go to the pastor. The pastor has nothing. The guy must have a reason why he doesn't have sexual intercourse with the wife. Only when they have practiced abstinence before their wedding.
Exactly.
So he has no reason not to have touched the wife. But if he's not interested, definitely he's concealing some things. And the wife should probe further. He should get the mom involved. And you see the truth will come out. And when the truth comes out, she should maintain the confidence and find a solution with her to make mockery of the husband because he will not be happy. That is my own suggestion.
Okay. Thank you very much, Onwa. Thank you for calling.
Thank you, dear.
Okay. So Onwa from Ikorodu is saying that she should talk to him, which is, I think, if we take a poll today, that will be the largest percentage of advice that has come in today. Talk to him. Onwa said, as a sister, as a wife, as somebody he can confide in. So talk to him, get him to tell you the truth, get him to get to the bottom line with you, get him to really open up and tell you what really is the matter. But if that doesn't work, he says, talk to his parents, most especially his mother. Talk to his mother because his mother will be able to talk to him and possibly get the truth out of it. And then when the truth finally comes out, he's appealing to mercy to not make a mockery of him and to not go about telling people what the issue is. They should try to sort it out and find a solution. Thank you, Owa. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening. Thank you for calling.
This is Olusoy Aloen. I'm the one that called that time.
Oh, yes. Olusoya, please tell me. Tell me.
Exactly the man that called after me, exactly what I said, that is what he tried to explain to me. The man should go and explain to his mother. He still has mother is still alive.
Hmm.
He go and meet the mother and tell her what is happening. I think they get solution to that one.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, so Olusoya just added to what he said earlier. And he's saying that she can talk to his mother. She can talk to his mother and they can get to the bottom of this. I think the mother perspective is because of that trust. You know, if you cannot trust your wife, which shouldn't be the case in the first place, because you must have dated, you must have had a relationship with this person, you must have built trust over time. But if you can't trust them, then, that needs to be worked on, definitely. But I think they're talking about the mother because if you bring the mother into this equation, there's a certain level of confidence that the man would have to open up to his mother, knowing that that's his mother. Number one, she's going to accept him regardless of the situation. Number two, she's going to cover him up. She's going to cover him up. Nobody else is going to know about that. Number three, they will find a solution. They will find a solution for sure. So I believe that's why they're saying talk to his mother. So yes, talk to his mother. And that's Onwa from Ikorodu saying that. And Olusoya as well. In fact, a number of people today have said that. And I can obviously see why. All right, so let me go back on the group, on the Adult Conversations group, and take some last set of messages. So this one is coming in from A Square Cakes and More. A Square Cakes says, from another point of view, I'll advise Mercy to check within herself. I hope her husband has not found her in any compromising situation just before their marriage. And I hope she has been honest and loyal to him because men find it more difficult to get over I think what A Square Cakes is trying to say here is that if Mercy's husband found something compromising about her, something he didn't see coming, something that definitely shook him to his core, he was in shock when he found out. But if he found this out just before their marriage, that means he couldn't call off the wedding, and so he just decided to marry her. And now he's possibly punishing her for it, or he's possibly just trying to process the whole thing, and it's taking this long. So she's saying, try and make sure that you're not the fault. Try and make sure that there's nothing like that that could have happened that he could have found out to lead to this kind of outcome at the end of the day. Oh, and she says, because men find it more difficult to get over. And I think to a large extent, that's true. When a woman cheats on a man, most of the time, the woman just needs to she needs to see remorse. She needs to know that the man is remorseful and that he intends to change. So when she sees that, to a large extent, she feels inclined to forgive. And she usually does at the end of the day. But when the woman cheats on the man, or the woman breaks the man's trust, whether or not she says sorry from now till next year, whether or not she's remorseful, the men just find it more difficult to let go of things like that. So I think that's what 8 Square Cakes is trying to say. This is another one from Akin from Ogun State. Akin says, good evening to all adult conversation family members. My advice for Mercy is to discuss it with her husband's mentor, not family members. I think by that, there will be an open conversation. I think what you mean to say, I think there will be an open conversation between both parties. So Akin from Akute is not, excuse me. Akin from Akute is saying, don't invite your parents or don't invite his parents. What he's saying is that you should talk to his mentor. Talk to his mentor. And that's what Akin from Akute is saying. He says, if you do it with his mentor, at least you can get more open points of view. You can really get to the matter and you can have room for a more open conversation. So thank you for that, Akin. All right, this is 10 minutes to the hour of 11 on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. We're very close to drawing the curtains now. So now will be a good time for you to call in. I can take 2 more calls before I round off. So call in and give your advice to Mercy. 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. Remember, you can still send a text message or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. That's the number to text in. And of course, you know the number to call in 07000 917 917. All right, keep the calls coming in. But in the meantime, I'll try to just round off everything that we've discussed so far. So Mercy is saying that she's 3 months into her marriage. Her husband has not had sex with her. I'll take that call first. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, good evening.
Good
This
evening.
is Simeon calling from Ecuador.
Simeon.
Simeon calling from Ecuador.
Simeon from Ikorodu. All right, please go ahead.
I want to contribute to the issue on ground. Two things involved. Firstly, let her check herself properly as the first. Maybe she has done something hidden and waiting for the man to, to cross her and then to cover the secret. That is one. Then, if there's nothing like that, I believe then they go rapport, both her and the husband. Then let her call the husband, in a good mood and ask him why is he doing that. If that one doesn't work, I think they are Christian and they marry as a Christian because they can distance themselves from having an affair to each other, they must be a good Christian. As a Christian, they have a marriage committee which they pass through before marriage. Let her go to that marriage committee and inform them. They will call them in order and sort out
solution for them. And if that one doesn't work out, the man himself has a mother. Let her go to the mother of that very man and explain. The man will call his son and ask him what happened. That's my contribution.
Thank you, Simeon. Okay, so three things. Simeon is saying, again, like people have said earlier, talk to him. Try and make sure he's in a good mood when you're talking to him so that you can really get to his heart and you can get to the core of what the problem is. If that doesn't work out, since you practiced abstinence as a couple before you got married, you must have gone through relationship classes, marriage counseling, and all of that within your church. So he's saying take your marriage back to that marriage committee and tell them what is going on. So maybe they can call your husband or somebody there can call your husband and talk to him and try and figure out what the issue is. At least figure out what the issue is with both of you together. Finally, he said talk to his mother. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello, hello,
Good evening.
hello,
Please turn.
hello, good evening.
I can hear you.
Hello, good
Please,
evening.
please.
Hello, good evening.
I can hear
No,
you.
hello, good evening. I'm Jen.
Please turn down the volume of your radio.
I am Sister Jen.
Please turn down the volume of your radio.
Okay. I am Sister Jen. Good evening.
Good evening, Sister Jen. Have you turned down the volume of your radio?
Yes, I'm very concerned.
I can still hear the feedback. I can still hear it.
Okay. So I'm suggesting if the thing that man has said. I'm suggesting it. Let them go to marriage committee. If it says the marriage committee, even the marriage committee can solve the problem.
How can
Thank
the
you.
marriage committee solve the problem?
If they go to marriage, if the woman asks the husband the reason, if he did not tell him, or if they go to marriage committee will call the husband and ask him, and they must solve the problem.
So what if he doesn't open up to the marriage committee too?
He will open up his church.
He's not obligated to do that. If he cannot talk to his wife, what makes you think he'll talk to the pastor?
And so,
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Sister Jen, where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Oshun.
Oshodi.
Oshun.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sister Jane. Good
Thank
night.
you. Okay.
Okay, so to a large extent, I think that would be our final call. Yes, definitely. That's our final call for tonight from Sister Jane. Sister Jane from Oshodi is saying that, seconding what Simeon said, talk to the marriage committee and they would get him to open up and give you commensurate advice and solution for the challenge that you have on ground at the moment. So, thank you very much to everyone who has called in. I was specifically just asking, what would the marriage committee do? Why do we keep inviting pastors into this? As much as I understand that they are a spiritual authority, but when we always say, don't invite third party, doesn't that include pastors? Doesn't that include pastors? That may just be my point of view. That may just be my point of view. But doesn't that include pastors? Why do the pastors have to know? The pastors are not professionals. They're not. But irrespective of all that, what has been said so far is to talk to him, speak to him, try to get him to open up to you. If that doesn't happen, talk to a friend that he knows and cares about, or his sibling, or his mother, or his pastor, somebody that he speaks to, and somebody that speaks to him rather, and he listens. Also make sure that he's medically fit to have sex. So that means go to the hospital, run required tests for this kind of thing. Make sure he's fine. Also look within yourself to find out that you're not the problem. Whether you've done anything you're not supposed to do that he possibly could have found out that made him lose interest in having sex with you. Also pray about it. Pray about it was also something else we heard a lot of tonight. Pray about it. Pray about it. So yes, that basically to a large extent summarizes everything. I was asking earlier that if the guy is interested in like intelligent conversations, that kind of thing, I mean, could that be something that would make a man not want to have sex with his wife? But at this point, we're rounding off. And thank you so much for joining me this evening on Adult Conversations. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you'll join me again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow. Thank you very much. To everyone who has called in, sent in text messages, I'm very grateful. And of course, I am sure that Mercy is also equally as grateful. Thank you very much. Yes. And join me again tomorrow, same time, same station, Women Radio 91.7, right here on Adult Conversations. Thank you to my producer, Taiwo Adeleye, the engineer on duty, Michael A.K. Paul. My name is Somto Titilayo Ajama. Good evening.
Women are simply amazing, great nurturers who spend most of their time, energy, and thought juggling life and family. Women are refreshing wells of courage and warmth. Up you, woman! Now is the time to find and identify your true self. Become the best you. Live your true purpose. Up You with Ezinne helps you begin the journey, empowers you with hope and inspiration. Tune in to Up You with Ezinne Kufre Kanem every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Up You with